Hello everyone and welcome to your practice today. As you can see, I have set up a little bit of a space for myself where I can really tune in. I hope that you have done the same for you, and I know it's only day 3, but I hope that you're starting to feel that kind of habit of sitting down and starting your day with your manifesting or gratitude list or meditation practice, whatever you're focusing on this week within our challenge. I have my journal here, so for after your practice, I think it's always handy to have your journal. Even though today in our class we won't be doing any journaling, I would like you to have your journal so that after class you have the option. It is there in front of you to remind you, just in case there are things that you like to write, or even if you want to write down during the class, you might want to be taking some notes. I've lit some candles, I have my cup of tea. So let's get straight into today's class. Today is day 3 of our manifesting challenge. I hope that you're enjoying it so far. And today is all about having faith. Now, for somebody who is not religious, has never been religious, and perhaps now that I'm getting older and now that I am really getting into my manifesting practice and starting to study or really tune in to what has stopped me in the past, having faith is something that I've really struggled with and has been, for me and probably for most people in this day and age where religion is not so much a thing, spirituality can have a little bit of a stigma around it or an association around it. And having faith is not so common anymore, and it's maybe a little bit alien to us, a little bit unfamiliar, and we're not really practiced in the idea of having faith in the world, having faith in things that are out of our control, and having faith in our journey, our path, ourselves, which is probably the most important thing. So today's class is all about having faith, how to believe in miracles happening to you, how to believe in the outcome or in the result that you are trying to manifest. For myself, and I can only speak for myself, but I think for a lot of people that we view success and wealth and happiness a lot of the time for them rather than for me. And it's very easy to look out at the world and see everything that's going right for everybody else, and to focus on all of the things that are in the way of us achieving what they are achieving. And I think you can slip into that idea that success is for successful people, happiness is for happy people, luck and getting what you want is for lucky people. So today's class is basically about breaking that down and getting rid of that idea and that belief, because it is completely untrue. So there is a quote by Oprah, who is like what manifesting queen she has to be, and she is basically goals. Everything she has achieved is because she had faith and she believed, and it is a common thread when you listen to her. She speaks so much about having faith. In her words, she says, you do not become what you want, you become what you believe. And I think it's really easy to get confused with desire and constantly wanting this dream or wanting a result, confusing that with believing in the outcome or having faith that your journey will end up where you're meant to be, while being appreciative and grateful on the journey and having faith on the journey. And I think that's really important to kind of distinguish between both, that desire and faith are not the same thing. And when you are in that space of desire, that you are constantly in that space of lacking and sending that lacking out into the universe. And on the other hand, when we move away from desire and we let go, we give ourselves the freedom to be open and to let go of control and trust in timing. I'm going to share a little story with you about my husband, Connor, who at the time wasn't my husband, and who has been with me actually on the journey of very much just almost a rebirth, I feel, of myself, and really discovering who I am and what I want. And he has literally changed my life more than I can even say or describe, and he is the most inspiring person in my life. And throughout the studio, when there were times where I just wanted to give up and I felt lost and I just really couldn't understand why I wasn't where I wanted to be. I literally felt like I knew I had to believe in myself, but I couldn't muster up the belief and the faith, and I didn't know how to find that faith in myself. And every time we discussed people who were successful, I actually found like that was just making me feel worse about myself, and I felt falling into that comparative mindset. And Connor said to me that, Molly, everybody that you look up to, the people, or think of one person that is super inspiring to you, that you see in your eyes is really successful, and if you were to aspire to be like someone, who would that person be? And then he said the only difference between you and that person is that that person believed, and that person did not take no for an answer. Every time that person heard no, they saw yes. Every time that person was told no, they took that energy and they tried to put that energy into finding a path that resulted in yes. And along the way they failed, along the way they got lots of no's, thousands of no's, whatever it was, thousands of dead ends, but they kept going and they kept choosing to see the light rather than to sit in the darkness, rather than to turn away from trying and showing up and believing. The people who didn't get there in the end were the people who chose to see the darkness and to take no as the final answer. And he said that's the only difference between you and that person you aspire to be. So even though that was a few years ago, and even though it's taken me still a few years to really resonate with what he said, even though I knew what he was saying was true, and even though I knew that what he was saying was going to change my life, it still took me time. So don't worry about it taking time to believe. It might take time to find that faith in yourself and faith in your journey and what is out there for you and all the possibilities. But that is what this 5-day challenge is about, is just creating the habit of showing up, in taking time to witness that desire or that darkness or that voice in your head that says that you should give up, that it's easier to give up, that if you try you might fail and it might be difficult or there might be hard lessons. Instead of following that path, this 5-day challenge is about showing up so that you can let go of that past voice and choose to every day have faith. Choose in every moment when there's a struggle, in every moment where things don't go as planned, in every moment that things might seem like they are lacking in possibility, that you know that if you just continue to show up, if you continue to learn from what has happened and go forward with light, that you will eventually have faith when you see the signs and the miracles of the universe. In preparation for this day 3, I was looking up kind of quotes about miracles, and for a lot of people, obviously, it is in the choice to see the miracles. It's when you acknowledge everything to be a miracle. It's when you expect miracles that miracles happen. And as again Oprah Winfrey said, I'll read this quote out, "I for sure believe in miracles. For me, a miracle is seeing the world with light in your eyes. It's knowing there's always hope and possibility where none seems to exist. Many people are so close to the miracles that even when one is boldly staring them in the face, they label it coincidence or serendipity. I call it like it is, a miracle." So our challenge today for this class is to write down a sign that you want the universe to send you. Now, for me, there has been a few different things that I've noticed. For example, I'll give you an example. There's something in my life that I am trying to manifest at the moment, and I am giving all of my being to believing that it will happen. And even the fact that every time I look at my phone, literally I would say, since I have started this, 99% of the times I have looked at my phone, it's been double digits in the time, so 13, 13, 19, 19, 11, 11, every single time. I have asked the world for a sign of a white rose. I haven't had that sign yet, but again, I'm not choosing to see that as something that it means that the universe isn't listening. I'm just waiting and believing that that sign will be given to me when the timing is right. But I'm still noticing, even though that double-digit thing on my phone is not something I asked for, it's a sign, because for me, I'm opening my eyes and I'm open to these signs, and it's giving me faith every day. So I would like you to, first of all, write down whatever it is that you are currently trying to manifest, whether it's a big dream or a big goal, and whether it's simply having faith in manifesting. I'd like you to write down something simple that sits with you, and ask the universe to give you that sign. So this is going to be your miracle or something magic that you are sending out into the universe. And don't worry if it doesn't happen exactly when you want, or don't worry if it doesn't happen for a while. And if it shows up in a different way, like for me, maybe I'll never get that white rose sign. But for me, I have seen the double digits as a sign that the universe is listening. So I'd like you to pause the video and write down that. And then also, I want us, a second challenge for today's class is a miracle can be created by you. So a miracle is something that you think you cannot do. So perhaps write down something that you think you cannot do and then do it. So whether it is you think you can't do a handstand, how are you going to do a handstand? You're going to show up every day to practice. And even if the handstand doesn't look like the perfect handstand, even you jumping up and getting your feet to that wall means that you've just done what you think you could not do. So I want you to write down something. Now that's a very vague example, but I want you to write down something. It can be super small. And even in that little achievement, and even in that little miracle that you have created for yourself, it will give you that motivation and that inspiration to find your inner belief, find your inner faith. It is there. And remember what my husband told me, that the only difference is that some people take no for an answer. Some people give up after the first failure, and others keep going. Others choose the light. Others choose to perceive everything in this world as miracles. Every part of their day, every breath, every blink of their eye is a miracle, because really it is. There is another quote that I will finish with by Thich Nhat Hanh. People usually consider walking on water or in thin air as a miracle. But I think the real miracle is not to walk either on water or in thin air, but to walk on earth. Every day we are engaged in a miracle which we don't even recognize. A blue sky, white clouds, green leaves, the black, curious eyes of a child, our own two eyes, all is a miracle. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that these little challenges, these quotes, our discussion today has lit that faith in you, and we are going to move on to our meditation, which I've queued to come up next, so I will see you there. And after our meditation, please do feel free to journal, or if you want to journal now before meditation and write down some things that really resonated with you, things that you see to be a miracle in your life, and put it out there. Ask the universe for your sign, for your miracles. I believe that for you they will happen, and I want you to believe in it too. Thank you so much. I will see you tomorrow as well for our day 4 of our manifesting challenge.